What is your name, what are your pronouns, and what are you going to talk about today?
Okay, so I'm Busola, and I am a she and her. Then I want to talk about being an international student from Nigeria specifically.
Please give us an international student 101.
Okay, an international student 101, I would say, is any student coming in to study in a country which is not his or her country or their country of birth, residence of national or nationality. So if you're coming in from another background, from another nation or another just another region across the world to study in another country, you're an international student.
What does being Nigerian and an international student mean to you personally?
So I'll start with being an international student. For me, being an international student is an opportunity for me to have global engagements. It's an opportunity to have a shot at world-class opportunities and integration. For me, it's integrating with the world, mixing with people from all across the nations of the world, and it's multiculturality in a way. And being a Nigerian tells me I'm from Africa, I'm black, and I'm female. It just reminds me of my background, my upbringing, and everything that home represents, in contrast to where I am now.
How has being an international student affected you?
Okay, so while growing up in Nigeria, I was born, bred, buttered, sugared in Nigeria, so I schooled in Nigeria. There was no indication of being international, in quotes, in my upbringing. And all through my schooling years, of course, we had one or two international students, but we always had this reverence and, just feeling, oh, they're different, just a little bit different from us. But being kids, especially in my secondary school, I had friends who were British. We just related and we're just friends, and we made fun of one another. We laughed, played our jokes, and visited one another. So it was not a big deal. But coming over from Nigeria to study at the United Kingdom exemplifies what being an international student means to me. So for me, I did all my process and procedures, from the applications to the visa stuff to everything, to moving here on my own. So it was pretty hectic. Even making the decision to come it's a very bold and confident thing. And that's one aspect that a lot of people who are not internationals don't get to see. Because it takes a lot of resilience, a lot of tenacity and strong will to actually get up from what you're used to, where you're used to, come out of your comfort zone and decide that you're coming to study abroad. And when we say abroad, it's not just 1 mile, 2 miles, it's not just a few hours, it's so long, not just a few hours drive. You're literally living everything you've been used to, and it is not easy. Like I said, the application process, I did them myself. It was easier for me because I love to evolve over time and I develop myself, I learn a lot, I look at things and just grow and move with the tide. So it was easier making my application, but I applied to about 10 schools in the United Kingdom. After making up my mind, I was coming to the United Kingdom, and I got offers from almost all of them. But I chose Hull. I felt Hull would be more welcoming, more homely, and maybe actually more cost-effective for me. And that brought me to Hull, and it's definitely not easy. When we see the massive influx of international students, there's a general assumption that, oh, maybe they don't have anything to do, maybe they're lost, maybe they've come to take over everything we have here, maybe they don't have an identity. Oh, we have identities, we have a place, we have where we belong, we have a family that we had to live on. We couldn't have brought all of our family members, even though we are allowed to bring some at certain levels, but we can't bring all. And sometimes people think you're running away from home. Maybe we're just looking for better opportunities. Maybe it's not really about living home, because critically speaking, nobody really wants to leave home totally. Home is comforting. Home is a comfortable zone. Home is not so expensive. Like the rent, I keep saying the rent. A rent in a month here is what you get from your tenants in a whole year back home. And it's much bigger. The rooms are bigger. Every room has toilet and bedroom. Sometimes we have 2 kitchens. You live like in a palace, and now you just have to restrict yourself. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal, and you miss home. I remember having a discussion with my colleagues at work recently about the Christmas schedules, and of course people don't want to work during Christmas, but I want to work during Christmas because I don't have anything to do at home during Christmas and my family is not there. So I want to be productively engaged. I want to see maybe I can make someone smile on Christmas Day, or someone can make me smile. Maybe I can just get to have a chat instead of just staying at home. The shops don't open on Christmas Day, you know, the eateries don't open back home. Christmas Day is celebration, everywhere is open, we miss that. We love the lights, we love the glitz, we love the fact that you get to stay at home and be with family, but we miss that actually. And like I tell people, what I felt I would miss most coming from home was being needed. Would someone need me? Would my services be needed, be appreciated? You know, back home, especially as a woman, you get to do a lot of things for a lot of people. If you're married, you get to be with your spouse, you get to make arrangements for when he's around, what he needs, for the children, what they need or don't need. Even your parents are siblings and friends. You know, we have a network of old friends, old schoolmates, people you're building a new life with, neighbors. We have a very beautiful communal lifestyle at home. And you miss all that. To readjust and to find your footing here, it is a big deal. So sometimes you just want those little strange opportunities that people sometimes, naturally, not out of any fault of their own, would take for granted. You know, like being here on a public holiday. So, but for me, I love it because I have been able to learn and to mix with people and, you know new perspectives, share new ideas and evolve. For me, it's an evolving process and it's beautiful.
Have you felt that you've been marginalised or stereotyped within the community or at the university?
So, in answering that question, because stories paint very good pictures, I'll just give you 3-4 instances. Right in class, it was during second trimester. We had all always been in class together, but this was a special module because it was a choice module, elective. You get to choose, and we chose it. We're less than 100 in class. We're just around 60, 70. And we were asked to form groups from between 4 and 9 students. And the tutor said, the more, the merrier, because it was meant to be a discussion forum. And we're like, okay, great. And because of my mentality and ideology, I really wanted to integrate. So I was like, I'm going to be in the group with those on my seats who were all British. So 4 of us wanted to join with 4 of them. There were only 4 in class. And after they had written their names, we took the paper and we started writing our names. Upon writing our names, we had started writing our names, they withdrew the paper from us and they said, no, we're just going to be 4 on this team. We don't want anybody else. And the 4 of us were international students. 2 Nigerians, 1 from Malawian, and 1 from Iran. And they withdrew the paper and they did not allow us. And later on we spoke with the tutor. The tutor said, oh, they've agreed because the tutor later said we should merge. We now had about 4 groups of 4 students each. And the tutor said we should all merge so that we just have 2 groups of 8. And we're like, okay, great, now we'll merge. And they still said they were going to be just 4 on their group. And the tutor said, well, that's what they want, so we keep it that way. You guys go and merge on another side. That was an experience. Another experience. I was walking on the road. I don't really do late nights, but one of these winter times that it gets so dark very early, and I was walking on the street, and a drunk person just spat at me. Said, go back to where you come from. You do not belong here. And just a few days ago, that was very early in this session, just a few days ago, a very good friend of mine, a South African lady, told me she had a similar experience. And I was telling her, forget about it, it's one of those things we're used to it. She said, no, let me tell you what happened. She was not only spat on, she was slapped, she was kicked, and her glasses fell off, and her wig fell off. And she was asked to go back home because she does not belong here. Oh yes, the person was drunk. That is another experience. Where I lived initially, before I'm in this place, I stayed with 2 British students as well, which was very shocking to me. And I was told specifically not to talk to them, not to greet them, because can't I see that they do not want to talk to me? I was like, I didn't get it. I was like, you don't want to talk to me? Based on what? I speak English. And they were like, don't you get it? We don't want to talk to you. You don't belong with us. And we were only 3. It's a flat of 3 people. And they never spoke to me. continued greeting them. Hello, hi, how you doing? Because you know me, I'm a very bubbly person. And they never responded and they kept ignoring me. And at the point I had to tell myself, hey, you gotta stop. You're embarrassing them, you're not making them feel good. And it was affecting me psychologically as well. So I made a decision that, okay, I'll just act like they do not exist or I do not exist. Then I stay off home as much as possible. I stay in the library. I love it at the library. I love the people there. I'll just stay at the library, hang out with people, hang out with people in school. And that was what I did for an entire session. Until date, they don't talk to me. So sometimes if they see me walk along with one or two British friends, because I have a lot of people from everywhere as friends, they smile, but never talk to me. And finally, I don't travel much. I don't take transportation much. But one day I had to travel, and I was on the train, and because they had flight delays and so many delays, rail delays, everything, we had to take a train that I think it was meant to go before or after. I really can't tell whether before or after my timing. And I was not the only one on the train that did the same thing. Some couple of whites, British, were just at my front with the same scenario. Some at my back with the same scenario. And they were pardoned for the same issue. And I got a fine on the spot. And I was told if I don't pay on the spot, I'll actually pay times 5 when we get to the place we're going. And I remembered asking the man, but it's the same scenario they have. It's the same issue they have over there. Why did you pardon them and not me? Can't you just give me just this moment as maybe a check, a correction? And he said, I hear that a lot from your kind. And then it's very interesting. But for me, when such things happen, I was heartbroken because I felt this is not the Britain. But then I remember my very first day of coming to the University of Hull. And I had my baggages, of course, as an international student. I came along with my friend. And my friend looks a bit smaller than I. So somebody just walked up to her and said, you can carry this, I'll help you. He's white, he's British, he's Peter. I would never recognize him. I don't know him. Peter, wherever you are, a shout out to you. I will always appreciate what you did that day. And it took, because we had delays, instead of the train, we had to use a coach. So from the coach side, he helped us to carry our very heavy stuff to the taxi park without knowing us from anywhere. And when he got there, I was exhausted. I just sat, I couldn't carry mine. And he came back, he saw me, was like, oh, you're here. Aren't you going with your friend? I said, oh, yes, I am, but I'm just tired. And he helped me as well, lift the bags. 2, he said, don't carry anything, I will help you. And he took me to the back. I have very good friends amongst the British. When I was writing my dissertation, I had done all my work, I had finished it. And in formatting, I was just like, what am I doing wrong? I couldn't get it. One of my friends just, let me see what you're doing. He said, oh, you're done. How could you be done at this time? Because I always finish very early. I said, no, this is what you're doing wrong. And he sat with me and formatted it. What he came to do, he left it for my sake. He's white and British. And I call him Portable. Because it's very big. But it's Portable. That's my life. I have someone who would always make it a point of duty to ask me, how are you doing, Busola? Are you hearing from your family back home? Any news from this person? What is happening? What is the next step? Someone at work always tells me what next. Always tells me, see, you need to apply for this. Something is coming up. See, this is coming up. I want you to get that. I've seen love. I've seen affection. I've seen humanity at its best at the United Kingdom. And I think I've seen a very, very, very negative aspect as well. And it's not just to me physically as a person. I've seen and heard from many people, and there is definitely very strong elements of marginalization and discrimination. Unfortunately, I think sometimes people don't even know it. And that is where I think I am different. I want to understand them. Like we talked about my dissertation, I just felt possibly these home students feel overwhelmed in class. Well, I would feel overwhelmed. My very first encounter in class, I was like, did they ship Nigeria to this place? My class had more than 200 Nigerians in a class of 300. And of course, the British were a Nigerian figure, apart from other international students. So I was like, maybe they feel overwhelmed. Maybe it's not okay for them. Maybe something is wrong. And I was glad on doing that dissertation because I learned a lot. And I think the basic line is we are all humans. We all have our negatives and our positives. But a little kindness, a little compassion, a little empathy, I think it goes a long way. And I think some things like the EDI program are very great avenues to bridge these gaps, because it's not nice being told to go home, or being asked, when are you going home? Or being told, bye, take care when you get back home. I've not even made that decision yet. I'm not there yet. I don't know what next. So when I'm asked, okay, or when I'm told, take care when you go back home, have a good life back home, I'm like, oh, they're already sending me off without me knowing what next or being done with my program. So, but it's been good.
Would you do some myth busting about stereotypes surrounding being an international student?
The very first one I will say, we are not daft. We are not all daft. We are absolutely not daft or dumb. Some people just look at it and they're like, oh, they're black, they don't know what they're doing. We do know what we're doing. I would say we are one of the, especially being black, we are one of the very, very highly resilient tenacious and I think I said it before, strong-willed people, because we go through stuff back home. Our upbringing is tough. Our training is tough. Even in dealing with elders, in dealing with people in authority, it's not like the UK where everybody gets to have a say. In being a woman, it's tough back home. But we deal with all that. We've learned to weather the storms and still be kind and nice and loving and warm in spite of it all. You know, so we're so not dumb. We may not know exactly what we need to do, and it's just because of the educational differences, cultural differences, and personality differences. But just give us an inkling to what to do, and you just see us raising and setting the bar. For instance, that experience I shared in class, just of recent, one of the students, I would say, well, maybe one of the students just walked up to me and spoke to me at the library. I was like, so she knows I exist. And she shared about her dissertation that she had a distinction. Ours was not yet released then. I was like, why is she telling me that? And when it was released, she came back and made it a point of duty to talk to me that, hey, what did you have in your dissertation? I was like, oh, I had a distinction, and a beautiful one at that. And she said, oh, that's a surprise. Interesting. I'm proud of you. I said, no, I am proud of me. I am super proud of me. I'm super proud of my achievements. You know, that is what gets us there. And I'm very glad to say, because two of the international students left that course, they couldn't cope with that. But two of us stayed. Both of us that stayed got distinctions on that course and got distinctions on our dissertation. We are not dull. We might just need a little here and there. That's why I don't joke with the skills team. I was always on their neck, and it pays off. Another thing is, some people assume, especially for blacks, that we're very loud, we're very on called, and we're very, maybe we are criminals. We are no criminals. Some of us are extremely disciplined. Some of us, because of the kind of trainings and upbringing we have, we could be very disciplined and very principled. There are some things we do not take for granted, and we start early, whatever we want to do. And because of our doggedness to do and our resilience, sometimes we appear as being too forward or being too everywhere, but it's just who we've been trained to be. And this goes to other international students as well. It takes a lot of guts to be an international student. Sometimes people assume that for the fact that you're an international student says you cannot speak good English. I think I can dispel that. We might not share the accents you have, especially, and honestly, I don't think the UK should complain about that. Because I mean, the UK has about 40 different accents, so they might find it hard to understand themselves. So it's an accent thing. Sometimes if they don't understand what we are saying, yeah, we don't understand what you say sometimes as well. It's a mutual thing. It's mutual. Not that we don't speak English. You might just need a little more patience, like we also do need, even from the tutors and tutors as well. You know, so we could speak English. And even when we don't, for those that don't train in English, like in Nigeria, we schooled, we learned, most of our children speak English. They don't even, we are trying to beg people to still speak their local languages now. But in some countries where they don't speak English as their official languages, they definitely have languages they speak that took them to school, that made them pass through school, that makes them pass the assessment, because it's rigorous getting admission abroad, especially at the UK. So for anyone to have gotten the admission and to have been able to go, it takes a lot and they will be fine. I have some Chinese friends that sometimes they don't get the English the teacher is saying in class, but just give them an opportunity to transcribe. When they come out with the results, you are amazed. You just be amazed at what? Because they have content, they know what they're doing. They just need a little channeling. And some other people feel that we are very lazy, or we've just come to take over what belongs to them, what is theirs. We just want to mess up the economy. I think that would be very ridiculous, because we actually have to the economy. When I first came, I moved in very early. My visa was out by June, and I came to the UK in July. I was meant to start in September. So I was here very early before a lot of people came in. The shops were empty. Once there was rainfall, most of the shops on Newland closed up. At the city center, they closed up. Most of the shops were just charity shops. But now, if you walk across Newland Avenue, even in the night, even when it's raining at any time, you see the shops massive, and you see the massive crowd of international students, Indians, Chinese, Africans flooding into these shops. And I want to believe business has been booming for these businessmen, and to the extent that now we have some of these businesses, new businesses and old ones, now selling African products. You get to see ugu, you get to see ewedu, our local delicacies, you get to see so many Indian and Asian stuff, so many Chinese stuff. That means something good is happening to the business world, and that means it's happening to the economy. Some of us, they don't come alone. Some of us do not come with kids that will be in primary school and use the benefits, so to say. Some of us do pay school fees. Some of us have students in higher education. My daughter is in another university, and I pay school fees, I pay accommodation fees. So I think that is a very good way. It's a very good economic boost for the United Kingdom. And the students, the staff need to understand that we're not just a money milking opportunity avenue for the school. That is another myth. People just see us as the school has come to make money from these ones. All we are concerned is just the money. And sometimes you get local students saying, they have all the money, so they are the only ones that the school is concerned about. We're not all about the money. We're not poor. Yeah, that's why we can afford this, or we can struggle to afford it. There's more to us than just the image of immigrants, just the image of one of my lecturers call it educational tourists. No, there's more to us than that. There's more to us than people that don't know anything, or just black, or just internationals. They don't have anything to offer in their country. That's why they are here. Their country is not working, so they want to come and destroy our countries. No, maybe we should see it more as a mutual benefits thing, and maybe things will get better.
How do you feel the media represents international students?
I don't think they're giving us a fair airing. I don't think they're giving us a fair share of what they need to be putting out to the public. For the better parts of what the media does is mostly, they try to be sometimes positive, but mostly negative. You get a lot of negative feelings. Once you get on the news, you show somebody saying something somewhere about international students, go back home. And for me, I feel these are the things that instigate the drunks, the not so caught people on the streets to treat us badly, because they're like, yeah, we've been hearing so the news, you should go back home. What are you doing here? You're illegally here. We are here legally. We passed through the right processes. UKVI is not a joke. They mean business, and they screen every of our documents. So the media needs to portray us. Maybe they don't need to sell us to the public, but they just need to portray both sides of the coin. The universities keep saying they need us. They really do need us, because we bring a large chunk of the economy. Why is it that the media is not portraying that well enough? Yes, if politically they are saying they don't really need us, I've also heard from other debates politically that they do need us. The media should be a neutral body. I think I would say they should present both facts and let people use their discretion, use their objectivity to know where they stand. And at least that gives people options. Because you have informed decisions, then you can make informed choices. Unlike just portraying us as we are just here to stay, everybody just brings their family, everybody they just want to stay here. No. What do international students bring to the table? Let's portray it. What do they not bring? What do they remove from the table? Bring it out. But they really need to do more. And I would say they should interview international students as well as home students. What does the cordiality mean for both groups? What does it mean to be integrated? What does it mean to be international indeed? Because if you're a local student and you've had all your education at the UK, you're limited. No matter how well you look at it, how well you think your education is still a limited form of perspective. So there should be benefits in it for both of us. And the media should portray the same and not make everything look so negative. I hope they work on that.
How could the people around you and the university do better or help you more?
Now, I would look at it from the perspective of the people, not just the British, not just the tutors, not just the students, but everybody. The internationals, the co-African students, the British teachers, non-teaching staff, and just everybody. I think, like I said earlier, it begins with a little kindness, a little compassion, a little more understanding, and empathy. Just put yourself in their shoes. One day, I looked at my former roommates then and I was like, have you ever been outside of Hall? Talk less of outside of the UK. In my country, we have an adage, you say, landlord, travel and see. Meaning, you have houses in your village. Please travel, go to another place where you know no one. You have no house, you have nothing. And see, would you still be relevant? So it just takes a little bit empathy, a little bit understanding. That's one of the reasons I appreciate some of my colleagues. They just look and be like, how are you coping? How do you guys survive? We can't even imagine being in another country. So for everybody, we need some love, some compassion, some understanding. And it's not just the British to me, myself to the British. Because they need some understanding too. Sometimes it's not, critically speaking, it's not so fair being in your territory, so to say. Someone will say it's not a territory. Being in your homeland, but getting to class and seeing more than half of the students in class, they don't even look like you. And it's your hometown. So if we have mutual understanding, empathy, compassion, then I will tend to understand with them. I won't feel that, no, I've paid school fees, I came, my money is more than theirs. We hear some funny things from internationals too. So a little compassion, a little kindness, a little understanding. Then I think the media, we've spoken about the media, they can make things better. The government needs to do better. They need to do better by international students. Facts be told, government needs to do better. They need to make more inclusive choices and decisions. This is a place where equality, diversity, and inclusion matters. They should make it matter to international students, whether black or white. They should make it matter. They should go the extra mile to make sure we are okay. We don't have to take over what belongs to nobody, but just give us a platform to do well, And it could be our choice to go back home. And the university has a lot of work. So on my research, I really enjoyed my research. I was so sure that even if I did not have the best of grades in it, I learned a lot from it. I met new people, I met intelligent and objective people, and it gave me a lot of insights. And those are some of the things I want to share. Now, like the language, the cultural, the accent and personality barriers, most of these things nobody can do so much about. My personality, I'm a free, warm, loving person. Some other people will be very close-knitted, reserved, conservative. We can't get them out of their shell. Let them be who they are. That is what diversity and variety means. It's the spice of life anyway. Let everybody be who they are. So we really can't change cultural differences. You can't change your accent. I can't change mine. But we can work as a community, as the university, in orientation programs and induction programs. The first orientation program students have when they come in should not just be for international students. It should be inclusive for both home students and international students. They are coming in for the first time as well. They have new things to learn. They need to learn about dealing with international students. International students need to learn about dealing with home students. Learn my culture, I learn your culture. Learn a little bit of this, learn to create a balance. Oh, at the UK, there's no African time. We believe so much in African time back home. Not me, anyway. But at the UK, you must be punctual. Oh, let us get to know it from that place. Oh, one of my interviewees mentioned that sometimes when you ask a British person a question, it just gives you a one-word answer. Yes, no. To us, from Asia, from Africa, we want you to discuss. We want you to share ideas. We want to have a discussion. But when you say, where is that? Just, no. But in orientation and induction programs, because they are less academic and they are not rigorous, it's most times it's always a free, fun, loving setting. We get to mix and blend. So we need more of that incorporates both home students and international students and induction programs. And not just once. We need these programs to run sometimes during the sessions as well. Just bring people together. Just bring them together. All of the students of my research mentioned that they would want to have a time, a place, and a reason to interact. I couldn't change it. I just left it that way. A time, a place, and a reason to interact. The university needs to create more times on campus, more reasons for there to be interaction, because by the time we get to know one another, we will know that we have similarities. We share common grounds. Whether you are international, whether you are local, you're students and you belong to the university of all. But if we don't have that platform to integrate with one another, we just see one another as not like us, so to say. Then I would also say for academic and digital differences, because all of the home students of my research identify that international students seem to have a barrier in academic and digital literacies compared to them. And I would say it's because of our educational differences again and cultural differences. But the school can help us by creating mandatory programs. Like the orientation I was saying, should be mandatory for all new home and international students. Now, we could have mandatory skills training programs. You don't start your classes until you enroll on these programs, you complete these programs. It doesn't have to be just for international students. For the interaction as well, it could be for both home and international students. Yes, we know home students have this background, but we could brush up. They could help train the international students. We could create some form of body system. Oh, you're my pal. I'll be with you. I'll be with 5, like peer training, peer teaching, assessment. We could do that in form of academics and digital training. And it will boost the relationship and closing up the gap. And it should be mandatory. When every student gets to go through this process, they are better prepared for what they will do in class. And I will also say concerning a big deal, the environmental factors, accommodation, transportation, I think employability and religion. If the school is recruiting students from the nooks and crannies of the world, then they are going to be recruiting people from different religions, people that will not have houses to stay when they come because this is not their fatherland, people that will need transportation because they don't have accommodation on campus, they must get home somewhere. The school can do better. I interviewed students from one particular school where they have family accommodations on campus. They just make it 1 year. Once you've spent a year, you get out of there, go take care of your family. But they have 2-bedroom flats, 3-bedroom flats. They actually pay more than those in one rooms, which of course makes sense. And they have bills, they pay the bills. But once you're coming in as an international student, you are guaranteed accommodation, even with your families. The school can do that. The school does not have to build these structures. They can liaise with private agents. They can liaise with professional builders, architects, and private landlords as well. What can we do? Build us some houses, create opportunities for us, just give us an area. This school I'm talking about, they have locations where only international students stay, or students with families. Sometimes there is a mix, you can mix us up. But when people are coming in, let there be provisions for accommodation. It's a generic problem at the UK, we understand it. But our school can do better. This is where we belong, this is where we want to be better. On transportation, they could have a means of transportation specifically designated to students. Students would absolutely love it. Hall is a very, for me, is a very lovable, loving place. All we need is a bus to take us from campus to the city center. Everything happens at Paragon Interchange. So just get a bus, 1 or 2 buses designated to taking students, just for students and staff, of course, to and fro town. Students will feel welcome, they will feel included, they will feel that the school is thinking about them and okay, the school is interested. And in doing things like this, both international students and home students will get to mix. Because the home students will also take the transport. And you get to meet someone that you're always going to the same route every time and who you think shares ideas with you or just likes a video you like. And these things are important for our growth and development and our futures as well. And I can't say this enough. Okay, there's one other thing before I go to that. Public holidays, like I mentioned earlier. Christmas back home is fun. It's everywhere is hustling and bustling. Yeah, we know everybody spends with their families, they travel with their families, but because this is an international school, they could ensure that maybe 1 or 2 places will be open during public holidays for international students, because sometimes we have no one to share those days with. Sometimes we have no one to share those very happy moments with. It might be difficult to staff, I get it, because I would not make an unnecessary demand on staff members, but there could be staff volunteers that will do that. I will do that, because I know it's going to help someone and it could make a difference. Therefore, the big one for me is employability. I still find it tough to understand that the university would train us, they would invest on us. We paid school fees, but they've invested on us. We've learned 1 or 2 things, we've related in this society. And when it comes to employment, we don't really have some form of guaranteed employment. No. I think if we're good enough for you to hire us, if we really are good enough, we should be good enough for you to keep us, to make us permanent, and not just that, to make things work for us. I think we are your products, we are your investments. Would you rather have us go work somewhere else and because we will shine, some of us will still thrive. Some of us, you can tell that some of us will give our best, will give excellence all it takes. Some of us don't bother about whether the facilities or the remuneration is good enough. We just love the environment, or we just love the place, we just want to give our best. We will give our best, and some other places and people will appreciate the best someday. But to what advantage is it for the school if you will not keep your bests? I say best with an S. I think the university needs to sit on that. When I hear some things like, oh, there's a band they cannot sponsor, they know that every international student, that's why a lot of students don't give their best on their academic work. Many people are out looking for jobs, but if they know that what you do will be rewarded, whatever academic work, whatever employability you do will be rewarded, they would love it and they will give their best, not only to the academics, to volunteering, to internships, and to employment opportunities. But everybody needs a chance. If we don't get the chances, you won't even know that we are that good. And it just speaks well for the university to enforce some employability strategies. I'm always proud to say I'm a proud product of the university library and the skills team and the student futures and the bridging the gap. I can't but live on the memories from these people, But if I'm a product of all this in the University of Hull and I have to get shipped to another place, I don't think it's for the good of the school, but it will be for my good eventually.
Is there anything else you would like to say, or anything else you would like anyone to know about being an international student?
Being an international student is just our ticket to the world. I think the world should realize that. It's not our ticket to a specific place or country. It's not a limitation for us that we have to be restricted to the United Kingdom. It's just an opportunity to see the world, to advance globally, and to actually be, I like to say, be a global citizen. I love it so much. You integrate, you get so many things from different angles. And I think it is also the world's opportunity to see, embrace, and appreciate the best of us. Because we have some golden nuggets. We have some very, very beautiful diamonds in the rough that only need to be discovered. Some of us just need opportunities. Opportunities to advance, opportunities to excel and to thrive. And we would do a great job of it. So the world should see us from another perspective. They're bringing something in, and we see that the world has something to offer us too, and we offer them. And on a final note, I want to say to international students as well, be better than you are. You have what it takes, you have all it takes. If you could have struggled thus far to make it down here, you've done something right. You need to give yourself a pat at the back, and then you need to get up and get running again. You need to make a difference. Be the best at whatever you do. It is not a competition. It is not a we versus them thing. There is no we, there is no them, there is no clique, there is no special group. It is the university of all. We are all students, and for you to make a difference, you just need to give your best. Academically, give your best. Know that you do not know it all, and you need to learn. No matter what you think you knew before, start learning now. Do not do away with your students. They had the richness of where we are. I believe strongly in it because they've been here. They know what it takes. They know about the feedback and rubrics. They know it better. They've been there. Even though we will always have a support system for ourselves as international students, which I can't take for granted, we also need the local students' interactions. They give the best advices on other matters, even outside of school, tenancy issues, things we don't really get to understand, too many things, transportation, every other thing. They've been there, even food, whatever, they just know it. Blend with them, find your place. You open up, you need to objective, open-minded, be willing and ready to learn. Then find where you belong. And when it comes to marginalization and discrimination, I think we should know that the onus is on us to do better. If they go low, we go high. Michelle Obama said that. If they go low, we go high. And we keep going higher. Just keep giving your best. Your best is yet to come. It will be rewarded someday. It might not be immediate. It might not be in the format you would expect it. Life has beautiful ways of rewarding humanity. So keep giving your best. Be as compassionate as you demand. Be as empathetic as you want all students to be to you. Go for it. Explore every available opportunity on this campus. It's a building place. It's a molding place. I mentioned the Bridging the Gap. It's prepared me for the University of All. Student Futures prepared me for career and professional work. They taught me to draft my CV. They taught me to do presentations, to have interviews. Have you ever had a mock interview that it gets trained you? All employability award, you get to know your heroes and what to work on. And my beautiful skills team, oh my God, critical writing, academic writing, referencing. But it helped me. I had never written close to a 10,000 words before, but I wrote a 20,000 dissertation. 20,000 word dissertation. Because I had got the training just in the 1 year. The university library opened me up to see the best side of the United Kingdom. And I would not joke with them for anything. The people there are lovely, very intelligent, very smart, very welcoming. Find your place, find your footing. You belong somewhere, locate it. And when you get there, stamp your footprint on it. Let them know you were there. I would love somebody to say tomorrow, oh, we had Busola here, and she did this, she did that, and she made a difference. Make a difference in your own way. That is the best way to be international. Make a difference. Make a name. Be an inspiration not just to yourself and your family. You could just be an inspiration to the international community, to the world. And the world will just be your stage. See you at the top.